Let's get to the details of those stories and more. Now, the fight to clamp down on armed robberies and other crimes continue unabated. Today, the Defence and Interior ministers have given Parliament full briefing on their strategy to combat the menace. A high-level security meeting was also called by the IGP, where all senior police officers were briefed on fresh strategies. We'll bring you details of that shortly. But first, let's hear Chairman of the Defence and Interior Committee, Seth Champon, briefing the media after the meeting with the two ministers this afternoon.
Of security. And before I dance on, I would want to state here now that crime knows no political color. And we should all have it at the back of our minds that who a criminal attacks, the criminal attacks them based on their own intentions and what drives them.
May I please have your attention for this?
So like I said, at the outset, I would want all of us to have crime knows no color, and whatever is happening now is crime against the Republic of Ghana, crime against the state. And we met, and my joy is that this committee is the pride of Parliament. It is this committee on which we pride ourselves to play non-partisan conversation. Fortunately, the security couples appeared before us. We made them understand the narrative and the situation report on ground in country. As representatives of chance, but to put it thoroughly to them, what is the state of our affairs? We have been spoken to. We have pushed them on operational issues. We have pushed them on policy matters. We have been given the assurances. We have asked them to return to us in 2 weeks' time, and we want to know within 2 weeks' time. They've told us all the challenges they do have. Some which is right, which everybody knows, logistical. Fortunately, they've given us the assurances that that is underway. We want these things done so that every person in this land feels safe.
Oh, quick one. How soon are the logistics challenges being addressed? And another one, within 2 weeks, if nothing changes, what is the plan?
Aware that Operation Calm Life is ongoing, which is that is something we have asked them to enhance, and they themselves told us it's been enhanced. We've heard that yesterday, within the last 24 hours, His Excellency the Vice President called for a national security meeting, and of what they are doing on the ground. Many is what has been told. This is a closed meeting, and I'm bound by oath not to speak verbatim on what was discussed in the meeting. However, for the purposes of our engagement here, we all know that in the not too distant past, His Excellency the President appeared before the state, and that was in Parliament House. And he was categorical that within the next 6 months, he is intending to spend 800 million Ghana cedis on the security services. This was supported by them. My only understanding that this is urgent, and so we have to drive the procurement, but it must be done under due process. And we all appreciate government procurement is nothing that can happen overnight, but we're asking them as a matter of importance and to be prudent with that procurement process so we can see signs of security change immediately.
Quick one. That's not the last time or even the first time that your
So that is a brief on what went on at the high-level meetings, basically looking to help us feel safer in this country. Now, Kwesi Parker Wilson is in Parliament. He's still there. Let's get through to him so we can have some more details. Hello, Parker. If you can hear me, what more are they saying, or what more information actually are you picking up? Because we know they're not giving us all the information from what they discussed.
Yes, clearly the chair of the committee, Honorable Secretary Champion, failed to disclose exactly what happened at the committee level or their meeting between the committee and then the Interior Ministry. Now, what he is saying is that they have assurances from the Interior Minister that indeed they'll be able to salvage the situation, though there were challenges. There was an open admission on his side and that of the Interior Minister that there are challenges as far as the police is concerned. But even in the midst of their limited resources, they will ensure that they tackle the issue head on. And that is why yesterday they decided to deploy the police and the military to the ground to fight the criminals and also the armed robbers who are attacking innocent Ghanaians in their various homes. So for them, the 2 weeks, they are hoping and expecting that indeed the security agencies will deal with the situation and then will bring Ghana back to the path where they've always wished Ghana to be. And for them, Ghana is not in crisis. Ghana is not a failed state. Ghana, though there are few issues, but they are on course. So these were some of the information we have picked on the ground.
Right, but Parker, they're asking the Interior Minister, giving the Interior Minister 2 weeks to come back to the committee to tell them about what measures are being put in place to make sure that the country is safe. But yesterday there was a press conference at which the Information Minister gave that 7-point strategy. Is this different? Is this any different from what they're expecting the Interior Minister to tell them in 2 weeks?
Yeah, clearly, Gifty, there are some differences here. The chair of the committee is saying that this is a security issue and they don't have to go on air and disclose their strategies, about all their strategies to the media, because those watching are not all, in quotes, good people who would wish to see Ghana become a better country. And so if they disclose their strategies, the armed robbers who are watching will also devise means of outsmarting the police service. So what they had today was it was a crunch meeting. So they came to let the committee appreciate the intel, the strategy they have adopted, aside the ones they disclosed to the media yesterday. And that was when they had the assurances that indeed, if you are able to put these measures in place, clearly we'll be able to fight the armed robbery attack, and that within the 2 weeks, definitely you'll be able to deal with the situation. So they are very confident. They are very hopeful that indeed the security agencies will deal with that. So with that security intel, they wouldn't disclose it, but they know that between the engagement they had with the Interior Ministry, clearly everything is of course, and that we should see signs of progress in the coming days. Signs
of progress we should expect. Parker, I'll have you hold on briefly for me whilst we hear the ranking member on the Defence Committee, James Agaga, who's also been speaking on this matter. Well, we don't have it at the moment. We'll bring it to you, our viewers. But Parker, let me engage you a bit more on what the minority has been saying since morning. They've been in Parliament, piling pressure, so to speak, on the government and on the presidency to act. I mean, some of their members are on the committee already. What more do they expect apart from what the meetings that have gone on, have come out with, the outcomes from the meetings that have gone on already? The minority don't seem to be satisfied.
Well, I didn't really get the question, but if you're asking whether the minority on the committee were satisfied with the responses of the
I'm actually talking about what the minority has been demanding. This morning they held a press conference. Bring us up to speed on exactly what they've been demanding and whether or not this high-level meeting addressed their concerns.
Well, essentially, the minority is describing the government as incompetent because they are failing to protect property and limb in the country. They think that the government is actually rewarding, in quote, tax because you remember, Gifty, that somewhere last year there were a series of vigilantism going to court to free own people, attacking individuals, some ejecting a civil servant from government bungalows and all of that. According to the minority, the president failed to deal with the issue. And there's a possibility that the armed robbers have been emboldened by some of these activities, and that is why they've also gone on that tangent. And so if the president doesn't come out to decisively or come out clearly to denounce any activity that has been associated with the militant group, now they refer to it as a militant group operating under the government, then clearly Ghana is not safe under the NPP. And then again, they raise concerns about non-performing security agencies, that those agencies, we have the Minister in charge of National Security, National Security Coordinator, National Security Advisor, and all of that, they are not performing. And they want to see action from the president. They want the president to quickly dismiss these non-performing security agencies who are just wasting, spending taxpayers' money for no work done. Because the people need results. If indeed you went for the money of the people and the people are giving you the power and you're not using the power effectively to protect their lives, then you have no business in government, and that Ghanaians should vote against the NPP in the next election. Again, they mentioned about the morale within the police service, and thus they specifically mentioned Kofi Boakye, who they said that when he was in Ashanti region, it was great, it was fantastic, he was a talented, fine policeman. But because of politicization of the police service, they have reassigned Kofi Boakye to the IT research department, where he's not on the field to fight these armed robbers. And that decision made by the government has weakened morale within the police service. And so some of them are not really energized, they are not enthused to fight crime, because they realize that even if I do this, the government, depending on where I stand, they can easily reassign me to or relegate me to the background. Yeah. So these are some of the concerns they were raising this afternoon. Now, regarding in connection to the meeting they held, James Agaga actually held a press conference this morning. Now, this afternoon, when we queried him or when we wanted to inquire from him what is his position after the interior minister had engaged the committee, well, he said that he belonged to a committee. And what the committee is saying is that they have trust and hope in the interior ministry or probably the security agencies to fight the armed robbery attack. And so he is singing from the same hymn book as the chairman of the committee is doing, because he respects the chair. His chair is taking the position, and that is the way they are going. Okay.
Well, Parker, let's hear from Mr. Agaga now, and I'll finish with you once we're done listening to him. Here's the ranking member on the Defense Committee, James Agaga. Security,
the Deputy Minister of the Interior, the Inspector General of Police, as were brought to the fore some of their have also told us how they intend to deal with those challenges in the long term and in the short term. So like my chairman has said, we expect to within the matter of 2 weeks, and when we engage them again in 2 weeks, I am sure they will definitely be called upon to apprise us of some of the.
James Agaga is the ranking member on the Defense Committee in Parliament. Parker, if I do have you on the line, what more can you add?
Well, as we speak in Parliament, something interesting happened after the presser. Some minority members are raising concerns regarding delays in their salaries. They are saying that over the past 3 months, that their salaries have delayed, and it was concerning the reason. As I speak to you on the floor, they are discussing or they are debating the report from the committee that is looking at whether or not they need to scrap the interview, the Ghana Legal Council, the interview, and also the examination, the entrance examination that the law students will have to go through before they get into the School of Law. So these are the issues going on here on the floor of Parliament.
Parker, thank you very much for that update. Kwesi Parker Wilson, my colleague there in Parliament, bringing us up to speed. So